Today, we are often surprised by a discovery that was made, but no one really hears about it. In many cases, the discovery is intentionally kept quiet, but it is not hidden from view. In other words, they keep it in plain sight, but they never discuss it. This is mostly true when it comes to biblical archaeology. The reason these discoveries are kept quiet is because it validates the Bible. And if it validates the Bible, it validates God. And if it validates God, then we all have to answer to God. And the world wants to recognize the God of the Bible. And even less so, the fact that the God of the Bible came to us in the person of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. In this video, I am going to show you something that was discovered in 1980. But before I do that, we need to go to the scriptures to lay the groundwork. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, Keep all of the commandments which I command you this day. And it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, that thou shalt set thee up great stones, and plaster them with plaster. And thou shalt write upon them all the words of this law. And when thou art passed over, that thou mayest go in unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, a land that floweth with milk and honey, as the Lord thy God of thy fathers has promised thee. Therefore it shall be, when ye be gone over Jordan, that ye shall set up these stones which I command you this day in Mount Ebal, and thou shalt plaster them with plaster. And there thou shalt build an altar unto the Lord thy God, an altar of stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them. Thou shalt build the altar of the Lord thy God of whole stones, and thou shalt offer burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord thy God. And thou shalt offer peace offerings, and shalt eat there, and rejoice before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt write upon the stones all the words of this law very plainly. And Moses and the priests, the Levites, spake unto all Israel, saying, Take heed and hearken, O Israel, this day. Thou art become the people of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt therefore obey the voice of the Lord thy God, and do his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. And Moses charged the same day, saying, These shall stand upon Mount Gerizim to bless the people, when ye are come over Jordan, Simeon and Levi and Judah and Issachar and Joseph and Benjamin. And these shall stand upon Mount Ebal to curse, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall speak, and say unto all the men of Israel with a loud voice. And then, that's Deuteronomy 27, 1 through 14. And then what follows is the blessings and the cursings. The blessings if they keep the commandments and the statutes of the Lord, and the cursings if they don't keep the blessing, or if they don't keep the commandments and the statutes of the Lord. Now next we go to Joshua 8, verses 30 through 35. Then Joshua built an altar unto the Lord God of Israel in Mount Ebal, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, altar of whole stones, which no man hath lifted up any iron. And they offered thereon burnt offerings unto the Lord, and sacrificed peace offerings. And he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses, which he wrote in the presence of the children of Israel. And all Israel and their elders and their officers and their judges stood on this side of the ark and on that side before the priests, the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, as well as a stranger, as he that was born among them. Half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal, as Moses the servant of the Lord commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. And afterward he read all the words of the law, the blessings and the cursings, according to all that is written in the book of law. There was not a word of all that Moses commanded, which Joshua read, not before all the congregation of Israel, with the women and the little ones and the strangers that were present among them. Now, fast forward, after which 3,400 years had passed, and in the early 1900s, Christian archaeologists went looking for the altar at Mount Ebal, but they didn't find it. It was assumed, because they didn't find it, that the story of these blessings and the cursings was just that, a story. In 1980, an Israeli archaeologist by the name of Adam Zertal found the altar by accident. He wasn't actually looking for it. He was looking for evidence of the Israelite occupation of the area by looking to find pottery. And what he saw grabbed his attention was the large heap of rocks that seemed to stick out like a sore thumb. The reason the archaeologists in the early 1900s didn't find the altar was that they were looking for it on the wrong side of the mountain. As they peeled back the layers of heaped stones, they discovered the altar. And what is more interesting is that they found another altar underneath. This altar was circular and not squared as the Israelites' altars were made. It was round, and like the altar Joshua had made, it was formed out of uncut stones. It is presumed that the round altar was built by Abraham and used by Isaac and Jacob as well, since all of them lived in the area. Abraham lived in Shechem, and Isaac lived there, and Jacob returned there after his return from Haran. When you go to Israel on one of the many tours that they just keep you in Jerusalem and in and around Galilee. Well, the reason is obvious. These are the places that most of the biblical narrative takes place. Some might venture as far north as Mount Hermon, but because Shechem, which is now modern-day Nablus, is well within the Palestinian territory, no one goes there, and no one talks about the altar. All the time, the biblical narrative proves itself that these events actually took place, and the people involved were real people, not just made-up characters of a story, and of a real God who, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, became the Savior of the world. It was through his work on the cross, his death, burial, and resurrection that we ourselves today can be reconciled to God and join the family of saints who are waiting for us.